मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरतुषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। So thank you for joining today. Some devotees from previous batch also are there. Prem Latika Mataji is there, and I, I don't, some other devotees I don't know. They are from other batches also. So let us start discussing Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So I'll share my screen. Okay. Is it visible?
Yes,
Yes,
yes, Vijay.
Okay, okay. Yeah. Just 1 minute. Okay. So now today just we will discuss the introduction part. Okay. We'll not be going in much of the detail about the shloka or something. Maybe some part of the preface we can discuss of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu or Nectar of Devotion as Srila Prabhupada has given. So, if possible, you can have your Nectar of Devotion book, hard copy book with you. It will be better to refer hard copy. Otherwise, I'm showing here the parts of the preface, and it will always be better if you can read it earlier, the part, and join for the session. As of today, we will just discuss the introduction and the structure of this book that Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu has. And after that, we will start discussing the preface. Let's see how much we can do today. So yeah, so Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is a very, very important book actually in our Gaudiya Sampradaya. Why we will see. Srila Prabhupada has told so many statements in his NOD also. And Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, actually it is the one of the books which Rupa Goswami has taken almost 19 years actually to write this book. So it is like a magnum opus of his endeavors, and it's like one of the foundational literatures in his writings and as well as in the whole Gaudiya Sampradaya after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught Rupa Goswami this in short. At so all of you must be knowing this that at Dashashwamedh Ghat, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught this for 10 days to Rupa Goswami. So there is one full chapter in Chaitanya Charitamrita Rupa Siksha in Madhya Lila. So there we can see a glimpse of this book what we have taken up to discuss. A glimpse of that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu speaks to Rupa Goswami. So Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is a very very important book, and this Prabhupada has given a subtitle to his book actually, The Science of Bhakti Yoga. If you see the hard copy book or the folio. The title is Nectar of Devotion. Under it, Srila Prabhupada has written the science of Bhakti Yoga. So the whole science of Bhakti Yoga is described in this book. So before we discuss the details, let's see what are the meaning of each term of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So before we actually have Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, we have this word Shri. So why do we write Shri? Obviously, Shri, as all of us know, it represents Srimati Radharani. And it is often said that Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is actually a personification of Srimati Radharani because she is the primeval Bhakti Devi, and the Bhakti is carried in her heart in first place. Then it is transferred to any other Jiva, actually, whether it be our Acharyas or anybody else. So that's why Srimati Radharani is said to be the personification of this very Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and hence before Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu we write her name. And any endeavor we do as such in Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, we actually do it with her blessings. And that's why here we have written Shri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And we will see the preface. Srila Prabhupada has actually defined each term Bhakti, Rasa, and then Amrita and Sindhu. So, a general meaning all of us may be aware about what is each term. Okay, but in detail we will see from preface that what Srila Prabhupada actually gives details about each term, how each term is very very important. Rupa Goswami could have written any other name, okay, and he could have a very much titled it as any philosophical book, Tattva book, but he has given the title Rasa. Okay, something rasa is like juice. In a very crude language, we can translate it as juice. Like now, the season of mango is going on, and amras is very, very uh, in demand right now. So rasa is something which is similar to juice, and Srila Prabhupada actually translates it in the language of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and we know how prolific he was actually, especially in English language. So he has given a specific name to it called Melo. Okay, so let's see one by one each term. So here the word Bhakti, actually, as all of us know, Srila Prabhupada translated it very, very specifically as devotional service. In general, we can say Bhakti is devotion, but Prabhupada actually he has gone a step ahead, we can say, to give the definition as a devotional service and not only devotion. So he said this is devotional service. Just 1 minute. So devotional service. So we actually, as our custom is like we generally try to give shastric praman for anything we say, right? So Srila Prabhupada, how did he come to this definition, devotional service? So when we read the commentary of Bhagavad Gita, in the first chapter, Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan actually gives the definition of bhakti. As he says, bhaj iti eshvai dhatu. As all of us know, this bhakti comes from the word or the root bhaj. Okay. So he gives a definition for bhakti. And he says, bhaj iti eshvai dhatu sevayam parikirtitah. Tasmay seva budhay prokta bhakti sabdena bhuyasi. Like that he gives definition. So what does it mean? So bhajiti eshvai dhatu, this dhatu which is bhaj, sevayam parikirtita. This is glorified everywhere. Parikirtita as what? Seva. Okay. So that aspect is what? Service, which Srila Prabhupada gave. Okay. Sevayam parikirtita. And what it's the bhaj itself, the root it means is that is devotion. So Prabhupada combined those two terms, that is bhakti as well as seva, and gave it as devotional service. So this is how Srila Prabhupada actually has come about this definition of bhakti, as which we can say sum total of all the aspects which we say Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, correct? So many kinds of angas of bhakti is there, as we will read in this book. 64 angas are described. So all of that is some kind of service. Hearing is a service. Nama Grahan, that is also a service. So all that is actually a service, and it is all done with devotion. So Prabhupada gave the essential understanding as devotional service. So bhajiti eshavai dhatu sevayam parikirtita. It is glorified everywhere as seva. And then tasmat seva budhay prokta. So those who are intelligent, Budhay, so they have told that that seva is nothing but it is the synonym or it is glorified by bhakti word, bhakti sabdena bhuyasi, like that. So this very first word is bhakti in this book title. So bhakti is devotional service as defined by Srila Prabhupada. And some other places also we will see, as we will see in the preface. So Prabhupada will tell this as something which is enabling us to love Krishna, okay, or the other avatars of Krishna, or the representatives of Krishna like Guru or the sadhus, previous acharyas. So that love connotation also is there. Okay. So it is about the word bhakti. And now what is this second term? This is rasa. So what is this second term rasa? As I told earlier, it is something which is juice, but it is a very crude translation of the word rasa. So basically rasa, as we will see, not in the eastern section, in the next section, the southern section actually it comes. There it will describe, it is very, very technical word. Okay, rasa is very technical word. And how Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has translated it, anybody knows? Uh, what is his translation to this word rasa?
Mellow.
Yeah, tell loudly.
Mellow, mellow.
Yeah, mellow, correct. So there he has said this as mellow. Okay. And where does he say? He says this in the chapter 20. Okay, in this book NOD. Okay. So he says this as we will quote that later, it will come. So Prabhupada says that as our spiritual master has translated this word rasa as mellow, so we will continue in that same way, like that he says. So rasa. So yeah, as I told, another translation which is very crude is juice, just to give a meaning or understanding that what is this rasa. But as we go further in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, we will see it a very technical term. So as of now, what we will do, we will just take it as all of us must have heard about bhava, sthai bhav, that is our permanent relationship with Krishna, correct? That is called sthai bhav. So as of now, we can take this word as, okay, sthai bhav, okay, which is nourished by other four components. Okay. So as of now, you can just keep this understanding of this technical definition. What are other four components? The other four components will be described in the southern section. Okay, that other four components are Vibhav, okay, plus Satvik Bhav, plus Vyabhichari Bhav, and Anubhav. Okay, so these are the other four components which are there. Okay, so with these, one, two, three, four. Okay. So with these four components, when mixed with the first one, what was that? Sthai bhav. Okay. When we mix with this sthai bhav, okay. Then what happens? We get rasa. Okay. So this is the definition of rasa. So in Sanskrit, we don't write only rasa, rasaha. Okay. Okay. So here now, what is the meaning of this definition, rasa? So just like when we have any, let's say any sabji we want to prepare. Okay. Bhindi sabji, suppose we want to prepare. So what is the main ingredient in that sabji? All of us know bhindi sabji means bhindi is the main ingredient, lady finger, that is the main ingredient. But when we make the sabji, it has so many other items also, right? Like we have oil, then we have jeera powder, dhania powder, or whatever other ingredients, sarso we may have, or salt we have, correct? So many other ingredients we put actually. And then we may make the bhindi sabji. So when the overall preparation or the final preparation is made, it is called bhindi sabji only. But does it have only bhindi? No, it does not have. It has all the other ingredients. So like that, here, thai bhav is like the main ingredient. Okay. And in that, so many other items are mixed, which are nourishing this ingredient as thai bhav. Okay. And then final output comes. And then what is the final output which comes? That is rasa. Okay. This is the technical definition, which is not under the scope of eastern section. Next section, that is southern section, it will come. Okay. So, but this is the technical definition. And in short, what Srila Prabhupada gave as Bhaktivedanta Swami has given mellow. Okay. So that is the simple one word understanding, that is mellow. Okay. So only if we take suppose oil or jeera powder, dhania powder, or other whatever spices we have, or mirchi, or we take only whatever ingredients are there, only bhindi also, that taste will not come, which comes in the sabji. So the rasa has a specific taste, okay, which will not come by any one of the ingredient only. Okay, from this example, we have understood this. Okay, that is rasa. That it gives such a taste which cannot be possible from only one ingredient. It is possible only by the combination of all these ingredients. Okay, so this is about the second term, rasa. Okay, and amrita, that is the third term. Okay, amrita. So what is this amrita? So we will see Srila Prabhupada will define this as nectar. Okay. So this is nectar. And the very amrita, the word amrita is what? That is opposite of mrita. Mrita means that which is death, or that which vanquishes, or that which is destroyed. That is mrita. Amrita means what? That is, like we can say, eternal. Okay. Or which gives something the property of eternality. Okay. Some, like we say, na, demigods, they drink amrita or nectar. So they also become, uh, their life increases, or they become immortal. Okay. Obviously, they don't become immortal. Their life becomes very big, very long. Okay. So compared to human beings, it is immortal. So that is nectar. So Srila Prabhupada will define this word amrita. Okay. That it is nectar, and different meanings of it also will come out. Okay. And then the fourth term is Sindhu. What is this Sindhu? This is ocean. Okay. This is the easiest term in all this. So Sindhu, all of us know, is ocean. And this is a book actually which has been compared to a ocean, or we can say actually it is a ocean only. Okay, this is not a book, it is a ocean itself. Okay, as we will see later, the division of this book. So Srila Prabhupada Goswami is going to divide it. So ocean he will divide into eastern section, then southern section, then he will divide western section, then northern section. So any ocean has four parts, or we can say shores. Okay, four sides. Okay, so this similarly, Rupa Goswami will define this as the eastern part, eastern division or eastern section. then there will be southern section, okay, then there will be western section, and there will be the northern section. These four divisions he will make. Okay. And what are the components of each uh, division? We will see there. But one very important thing to understand here, that ocean, in any ocean, there is what? Uh, Waves. Okay, there are waves in the ocean. Okay, so what Rupa Goswami has done? So he has given every ocean or every section of the ocean has different number of waves, which are like chapter. Okay, so we will see eastern section actually has like four waves. Okay, one, two, three, four. So each one is compared to a chapter. Okay, so because in ocean we don't have chapters, we have waves. So that's why he has taken it as technical name as Lahari. Okay, okay, Lahari. That is waves. Okay, so every ocean has waves. And how many each section has waves, we will see in the Granth Vivag or the division of the book. Okay, so now coming to the meaning of this whole thing, so Srila Prabhupada, as we know, he has given the definition of each one of this we discussed also. Now coming to the understanding of this term, Bhakti, Rasa, Amrita and Sindhu. So what is the meaning of this term? So this Anvaya, or we can say the uh, derivation. The derivation of this whole term from where it comes is Bhakti. Okay, that is actually the rasa. Bhakti itself is the rasa. As we will see later, as I told also, here the definition of rasa, it has sthai bhav nourished by other four ingredients. Okay. Yeah, and one analogy we can remember also, like we have this palm, we have the hand, the fingers in the hand. So the analogy we can remember and understand for rasa is that this whole sthai bhav is like the middle part. Okay, this where all the other four fingers are coming and joining. Okay, so we have the middle part here. Okay, this is the sthai bhav. And then other four fingers are compared to the four components like vibhav, sattvic bhav, vyabhichari bhav, anubhav. So these four components. So they four are all connected to the palm. Okay, to the hand. They are connected. So they are all nourishing. Okay, so all this together actually these four fingers as well as this is called as rasa. So this is another way we can remember this thai bhav, which is the base or which you can say as the foundation. Okay, this is the foundation, and in that there are four components which are nourishing it. Okay, so all together is called rasa. So this bhakti itself is actually rasa. Bhakti is sa eva, bhakti sa eva rasa. Rasa. Okay, so bhakti itself is rasa. So that is bhakti rasa and then amrita. Okay, bhakti sa eva rasa. Okay, and amrita. Okay, tasya sindhu. Okay, so bhakti rasa is actually amrita. Okay, bhakti rasa saiva amrita. Okay, we can say like this. Bhakti rasa saiva amrita. Bhakti rasa one term we can take. Okay, this is one term. Bhakti rasa. Okay, and that itself is amrita. So, yeah, correct. So, NOD, this preface, when Srila Prabhupada is going to define this nectar, okay, so he will tell that this Bhakti Rasa itself is nectar. The very first line he will tell in the preface about nectar is this only, that this Bhakti Rasa is which making it immortal or nectarian. So Bhakti Rasa is actually Amrita. And ocean of this Amrita is actually called Bhakti Rasa Amrit Sindhu. Okay, so this is derivation of this term. How this term is derived? Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So Bhakti Rasa is itself Amrita. Okay, so remember this Bhakti Rasa itself is Amrita. And the Sindhu of this Amrita or the ocean of this Amrita or this Rasa is actually Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Okay, so what we can say this in English, as Srila Prabhupada has told, nectar of devotion. Okay, so that is Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. But according to this, technically, we can say this is ocean. Okay, it is Sindhu. Okay, but ocean of what? Ocean of Bhakti Rasa. Okay, ocean of Bhakti Rasa. And what is that Bhakti Rasa? That Bhakti Rasa is nothing but it is Amrita. Okay, or nectar. So it is the ocean of Bhakti Rasa, that is Bhakti Rasa Amrit Sindhu. And that Bhakti Rasa is Amrita. Okay, like that. Okay, anything anybody want to ask till now what we discussed? We discussed these four terms and we discussed derivation of Bhakti Rasa Amrit Sindhu. Anything anybody has to ask?
May I, Prabhuji?
Yes, yes. Yeah, go ahead.
Prabhuji, you have given four components, Vibhav, Sattvic Bhav, Vyabhichari Bhav, and Anubhav. So can you just explain in brief about Vibhav, Sattvic Bhav, Vyabhichari Bhav, and Anubhav?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Mataji, for joining this session. Already you attended once, but again you have joined. So showing that so much you have interest and uh,
No, no,
inspiration
no,
to
just
join.
no, Prabhuji. I'm just fallen. I have not studied properly. That's why I took an opportunity.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you. So this in short, yeah, Vibhav, Sattvic Bhav, Vyabhichari
Hmm.
Bhav, and Anubhav. Yeah. So I will write it. Okay, in the next 1 minute. Add a new slide here and then write. Yeah. So the first uh, Vibhav, which is there. Okay. Yeah. This Vibhav. So it has two parts actually. All this will come in southern section, but here in short, I will just explain. So what are the two parts? So Rupa Goswami says first is Uddipan. Okay. And second one is Alambana. Okay. So Uddipan is what? It's something which is instigator or which gives starting to any pastime. Okay. Like we hear sometimes Mother Yashoda, she is like very famous pastime Damodar Leela we have, right? So Uddipan is there, like suppose she suddenly sees that Krishna has broken the pot. So suddenly there is a Uddipan in her heart now that she has some thoughts or something she has seen. It can be any, it can be sunrise or sunset. It can be any activity of Krishna, or it can be any activity of any other devotee, or it can be anything else which instigates any emotion in the devotee. That is called Uddipan. And second one is Alamban. So Alamban is again two. This we have heard many times. Vishaya and Ashraya. Okay. So Vishaya always is Krishna. That is object of love. So for Mother Yashoda, who is the object of love is Krishna. And who is the Ashraya in our example is Mother Yashoda. Like that. So any devotee. Okay. That is Ashraya. Okay. And we understand that this devotee is not a very general sadhaka. Okay. He is a devotee who is at least at the stage of bhava. Okay. Or at the stage of prema or above. Okay. Not a sadhaka. Okay, so let me write by negation. This is not a sadhaka. Okay, that is the definition of vibhav. Okay, this is the first term. Okay, vibhav. Okay, second one is anubhav. Okay. So Anubhav is a activity or action which is done with intelligence, okay, as well as with little spontaneity. Spontaneous as well as with intelligence, little bit. Okay. What is the example? Like, for example, suppose you meet any friend of yours after many, many years, and suppose suddenly you see him in a library, in a suppose library where there is supposed to be silence. So you will be very, very happy and joyous to meet that friend. But at the same time, if you suppose met him outside the library, you might very loudly shout his name or say something which you used to call him earlier by his nickname or something like that. Correct. But in the library, you will not do that. Correct. You may go near him, tap him like that, but you will not have that spontaneous, very spontaneous emotion. Correct. You may go to him and call him that with that spontaneous name which you used to call him. But at the same time, you won't be fully spontaneous. Okay, I hope you're getting the point. Okay, it's not fully spontaneous, but it is spontaneous with some intelligence involved. Okay, so that is Anubhav. Then third is Satvik Bhav. This is fully spontaneous. So many times we hear na Ashta Satvik Bhav or Ashta Satvik Vikar. Correct. They are eight in number, like standing of hair on end. Correct. Or we have choking of throat or the tears from the eyes. Correct. All these eight symptoms are there, which are completely spontaneous. Okay. Completely spontaneous. Okay. And no intelligence involved. So nobody cries with intelligence. Like suppose uh, the son comes from uh, somewhere outside to home after 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. The mother suddenly she sees the son. Suppose he was supposed to come next week, but he planned to give a surprise and he came 1 week before and he rings the bell. Then the mother may be expecting some, maybe like some milkman has come or some washerman has come or somebody has come like that. But she is surely not expecting her son. Correct. So then when she opens the door, so her immediate feeling will be of shock like that or a vismaya or some astonishment. Correct. So in this example now, the sun is the Vishaya. Okay, obviously Krishna is always the Vishaya, but to explain this concept, so sun is the Vishaya. He is the object of love. And mother is the repository or the ashraya of love. Correct. So and what is the rasa? Between my son and mother is Vatsalya ras. Correct. That is in material framework. So Vatsalya is there. And the mother may have immediate some feelings, but she may also have tears in her eyes. So just try to think, did she have tears in her eyes because she thought I should cry now? She will never do like that. It's just spontaneous. It is just coming. Correct. So that is the example of Satvik Bhav. Okay. And then fourth is Vyabhichari Bhav. Okay. So this Vyabhichari Bhav is called as transient emotion. Okay. Okay. Transient emotion. Transient means what? It's like it comes and goes like that. Sometimes it will come and whenever needed, it will nourish the sthai bhav and then go. Like in this example, where mother saw the son, what was her first reaction?
Happiness.
Uh,
Happiness. I mean,
yeah,
so
amusement or some
amusement.
astonishment or some shock. That yeah, she is obviously happy seeing her, but it's like what we say na, a pleasant surprise. Correct. It was like a pleasant surprise, but at the very basic. It was a surprising thing. But after 1 or 2 seconds, it may be anger also. Why anger? Can somebody say why it will be why she will be angry on son? Those are mothers may explain better. Why she will
Prabhuji,
be angry?
because I
Yeah, yeah,
feel because the son has not informed the mother, "Yeah, I'm coming."
yeah. He informed, but he informed that I'm coming next week.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
that
he,
is a yeah, yeah.
because the mother could not prepare for the son,
Uh-huh.
like preparing feast or something like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she
So
will be
she
angry, I'm not able to serve you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Correct, correct. Yeah, very good. So she, whatever she might have wanted to prepare, or she, like Prabhuji said, Chaitanya Prabhu said that she might be angry that he did not tell him the right date, correct? And then he has come before. So obviously she is happy, but after some 1 or 2 seconds, she may be angry also, correct? You should have told when I should come, correct? Like that. So there is a transient. These are all transient emotions, which is there in Krishna Lila. Here we are seeing that between mother and son there is a transient emotion that she is of surprise, but that surprise will go after some time, go away. That anger also will go away after some time. It's not that the whole 1 month, 2 month the son is there, she is angry only on that point. Why you're not informed? Every time she's cooking, she's not angry. So it will come and then go, do its work and go to enhance the relationship basically. Okay, like that. That is the example of transient emotion. Similarly, Mother Yashoda and Krishna. So when Mother Yashoda saw that Krishna has broken the pot, so Mother Yashoda was angry. And it's not that she is angry whole day now. Correct. So she is undergoing so many other emotions later. When we read the pastime, she is crying, then she is upset that because of me, this Krishna had gone to the garden with the ukhal, and then this two big trees fell down because of me. So she is undergoing so many other emotions. The anger is not fully always there. So these are called transient emotions. And then last is sthai bhava, which is the main. That is the relationship between the ashra and visha. Okay. The basic relationship. Okay. Between the ashra and the visha. Okay. Is it okay, Mati? Is this understanding? Okay.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji,
Yeah.
just
So,
one question.
yes, yes, yes.
Uh,
Yeah. I think
Prabhuji,
Mataji
I
has
think
some question. So, Lalita Gopi Mataji, you want to ask something?
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, in Bhagavad Gita 14.26, there is one verse, Prabhuji, means it's mentioning like avyabhicharini bhakti without fail. So
Hmm.
how can connect that without fail to this vyabhicharini bhava?
What? Without what?
In that
Without fail. Fail.
without fail,
Failure.
yes.
Okay, yeah, yeah. That is another meaning of Vyabhichari. Vyabhichari means basically that is connected to Vyabhichar. Vyabhichar means Achar plus Vyabhichar means it is that which is uh, immoral. Hmm. Immoral action. Okay, Vyabhichar. Hmm. Like that, immoral action. That is another meaning of this word, Vyabhichari. And this meaning, what Rupa Goswami is telling is different meaning. Like the word atma, na, it has many meanings. One meaning is like soul, other meaning is also mind. Sometimes the meaning is also oneself, atma, like that, or body also sometimes meaning is there. So one word in Sanskrit can have different meanings. Okay, like that. Here vyabhichari meaning is different from the verse you quoted, right? uh, माम च य अव्यभिचारेण भक्ति योगेन सेवते सगुणान् समतीते तान् ब्रह्म भूयाय कल्पते. So that verse, it is word is same, but the meaning is different, Mataji. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Chaitanya Prabhu, you had something to
yes,
ask.
yes.
Yes.
Prabhuji, my question was like sadhaka can experience any of the emotions sometimes before
Sadhaka
anartha
can.
nivritti.
Mm-hmm.
Sadhaka before
Mm-hmm.
anartha nivritti
Mm-hmm.
can experience any of the bhav for sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He can experience. Yeah, it is explained in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. When there is a abhas, basically it's called rasa abhas. Okay, so it is explained Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. This we will read in 18th chapter of NOD. It will be said that when he is in the association of very advanced devotee, who is actually at the stage of bhav, very advanced devotee, then a semblance of that can be experienced in our heart. Okay, we don't have that relationship, we don't have that emotion. Okay, but because that very advanced personality has, in his emotion, in his association, we can have that is called chaya rati abhas. Rati is bhava, and then abhas, a semblance. Okay, like it is chaya type. Chaya means that which is shadow. Okay, there is original object, there is shadow. So it is in shadow we can experience, not originally, because we are not yet having bhav stage. We are at the stage of sadhana. Okay, so the person you are telling at the stage of sadhana, then he cannot experience fully. Just a shadow he can experience. Okay, that is
That is, Prabhuji, not a sentiment, na? How can we differentiate that is a sentimental or it is really we are getting some pleasure?
yeah. It is not sentimental. Sentimental is different. Sentimental, which means that which does not have any basis. Okay, it is only on some imaginary thing. Correct. So here there is no imagination we are talking about. Okay, we are talking about somebody, a real person is there who is very advanced in his association when he does kirtan or he speaks some katha. Even though we are not very advanced, we can understand the emotions, or we may cry also sometime, and we may have hair standing on end, or we may have choked throat. Whatever the Ashtasattvic vikar may come, not because we have advanced so much suddenly, because that person is very advanced and he is making us also experience, and it will not be there always. Sometimes very small time only it will be there, and many times it is possible, even we see people crying when they receive some big award, or they are in cinema hall, so people cry, they do so many things. So those are all like material counterpart. They are not imaginary also. They are also not sentimental, we can say, but that is like it's just, like the person who is acting in cinema, that is sentimental. He is doing imaginary and drama. This person is not doing drama. He is experiencing the material counterpart of the spiritual emotion, like that. Okay, does it answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji. Understood.
Yes, Dayami Devki Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have a question. Like sometimes in temple also, some visitors
Hmm.
hearing kirtan or taking darshan, uh, some mata comes or what is it is I couldn't understand. But
Hmm.
they started rolling on floor and then just doing very weird things. So
Hmm.
what is this? Like they are experiencing those abhas, or is it something with medical issue is there?
Don't know. We don't know. We have to ask the doctor. If the doctor is diagnosing, then we can ask them. Otherwise, we don't know. Like this happened in Vrindavan once, in Vrindavan temple, while Prabhupada was there. Then Prabhupada was told, like, Prabhupada, somebody has come to temple hall, and that person is actually rolling on ground and making different sounds, very loud sounds like that. So Prabhupada's reply was very stark, obviously very different. He told, start beating him up with a stick, like that. So he told, and like that he told. But obviously we should not do like that. We don't know. It may be actual also. Somebody may be actually advanced, and he may be. But generally, those who are actually advanced will not show off like this, and generally who show off like this are not advanced. Okay, that is in general, but there are exceptions everywhere, and if we start beating and that happens to be exception, then we may commit aparad. So better not to do that experiment. So Prabhupada told anyhow at that time, and there is a basis for this in Chaitanya Charitamrita. You can read, there is a pastime where Haridas Thakur actually, he was walking through, and then was a person who was a sapera, what we call that snake. He snake charmer, yeah,
Next
correct.
armor.
Yeah, snake charmer. So that person actually, he was playing his bean, and then the snake was whatever it was, moving, dancing, whatever. Then Haridas Thakur saw it, and he actually went into ecstasy. And then everybody understood that he's a very advanced person actually, and then they respected him and all. But there was another person who actually started imitating Haridas Thakur and started doing like that similarly. Oh, Krishna, Krishna, like that he started, because Haridas Thakur actually and thought that snake, understood that snake, and then he got reminded of Kalia and Krishna's pastime on Kalia, that he got reminded and he went into ecstasy. But this person actually was trying to imitate Haridas Thakur, And then he was trying to act like Haridas Thakur, but everybody understood that he is not actually advanced. So, like genuine thing, everybody can understand, right? It is genuine or not. Correct. So then they started beating him up. Then he ran away from there. So that way, Prabhupada is saying maybe. So if we see anybody like that, we can just report to temple authority. We cannot, we don't, we should not do anything. Okay.
We had experience in
Yeah.
uh,
You,
N- NVCC temple only, Prabhuji. We were doing kirtan and some visitor
yeah,
Mataji
no need to
started.
describe. No need to describe. Every temple and everybody has some experience. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that, yeah, that no need to describe. Yeah.
My question was, Prabhuji, in that case, some devotees started saying, stop the kirtan. And some were saying, keep on doing kirtan. Like, what should be our approach? Like, if we are doing something and because of that, that person is feeling that thing. So, should we stop it and let them cool down, or we should continue with the kirtan and let them go away on their own? And like, what should be our approach at that time if you are doing that service and um,
Yeah, that's what I told. You can tell to temple authority. Yeah, we don't have to do anything. We can do our service, whatever we are doing, and report to temple authority. They will do whatever they have to do.
yes.
Okay. No? Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So we discussed about Shri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, what it means in short, and we discussed about the aspects of rasa. Okay. So as all of us know, the author is Srila Rupa Goswami. And in this book, we have, so as I told here, actually, Srila Rupa Goswami took like almost 19 years to write this. And as well, in this book, how many shlokas are there? Does anyone know? Bhagavad Gita, everybody knows. Bhagavatam also, everybody knows.
1934.
1934. I think somewhere added later.
Some,
It is no, no, it is more.
something.
Yeah,
Okay.
2129 shlokas. Okay. So this is whole Bhakti Rasam Sindhu. Original shlokas 2129 shlokas are there. And the whole thing is summarized actually in 11 shlokas in the Upadeshamrita book. This whole thing almost we can say it is summarized from the very beginning till the highest stages of bhakti is summarized in 11 shlokas. So that is Upadeshamritam, which also Rupa Goswami wrote. Okay. So but the this book has 2129 shlokas. Okay, and it has four sections. As I told, we will see the details about each section: western, eastern, southern, northern. These four sections are there of this ocean. Okay, so this was a very, very important work of Rupa Goswami. That's why it is called a mainstay or a mainstay of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Okay, and his main work also actually Rupa Goswami's. Okay, so that's why here Srila Prabhupada has termed it as the science of Bhakti Yoga. Okay, so the whole science it has been described in this book. Okay, so as we know, science means it has to be having some aim, some procedure, some experiment, and then some conclusion. Correct? All of us must have done some experiment in at least in our laboratories, 11th standard, 12th standard. Okay, so we have this all things, right? Aim is there, what we want to actually attain. Okay, what is our aim of this? Then we have also this procedure. Okay, what procedure are we going to follow? Hmm? And then we also have the experiment itself. What all like steps are we going to do? Like titration experiment we must have done. So we have before only that, okay, this chemical is to be mixed into this, which is there in the titrator and which is there in the beaker, how much quantity is there, all that is already known, and then we are doing it. And then at a certain point there will be change of color in the liquid. So then we understand, oh, experiment is completed. Then we note down that, okay, how much was the liquid in the top burette, and then how much it was dripped into the beaker. All that we note down, and then we may repeat the experiment, then draw a line or something, okay, to show something, and then we write conclusion. So that is a science experiment. Similarly, here also, Rupa Goswami has given the method that we do this activity. Then initially we have Shraddha, then from there we will have Anartha Nivritti will come as the fourth stage. And then from there we will go ahead, then the stage will come. Then after we go ahead, we continue the experiment. Then Ruchi will come, Asakti will come. Then after that Bhav will come where these things will happen. Okay, then we can always match that what is he saying with what is happening in our life. Then finally he will say, oh, at the conclusion, then prema will come, and these are the symptoms of prema. Okay, so this is a science. Okay, so suppose we have two devotees. One devotee who has been practicing bhakti for 20 years, but he is feeling that he is not advancing. Not only feeling, but actually he is not advancing. Then should we say the science is working or science is not working? What should we say?
Prabhuji, may I answer?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So suppose some devotees is following for last 20 years, but they are
Hmm.
not advancing. That means they are not applying the process properly. The science is perfect, but the
Hmm.
application is not there. So that's
Hmm.
why he's not able to advance.
Okay, okay, good. Yeah. So yeah, basically science is not having any problem. The science is working only, but the thing is there will be some problem in the application, either in the procedure. Suppose the many people have done that experiment, they have got results, and it is proved also scientifically that this you do like this, follow the steps, you will get this result. But if that is not coming, that means science is working, but we are not following the science appropriately. So that is the thing. Okay. So the other devotee in whose life the science is working, because he may be following the path properly. He will be following the path properly. But for other, he has to see what are his mistakes, whether he is not been able to follow it. That's why the result is not coming. There is no other thing. So that is why this thing is called science by Srila Prabhupada. Okay, because it has to work, it will work. There is no question of not working if we are doing it properly. Okay. So we should never think that, oh, in his case the science worked and in his case science did not work. No, it is not like that. Science is working in everybody's case, whether he is advancing or not advancing. Okay, but whether question is if he has been following the method properly or not. Okay. So that's why Prabhupada is saying science of bhakti yoga. Okay, let's go ahead. So in this, as we have told that we will be discussing the commentaries, and whichever are the very important verses, we will be discussing full commentaries. Otherwise, we'll take some part of it, and more we will take of nectar of devotion only what Srila Prabhupada has given. Okay, so the first commentary is Durgama Sangamini Tika of Jeev Goswami. So this meaning of this word Durgama Sangamini, as translated by His Holiness Bhanuswami Maharaj, is resolving the difficult. Durgama is difficult, and Sangamini is resolving. Okay. So there is another meaning also which can be derived is Durgama Sangamini. Okay, Sun plus Gamini. Okay. So there the meaning will be that commentary which helps us or which walks with us. Gamini is walks. Some is together, which walks together with us where in Durgama, in difficult places. Like suppose a person is climbing the Himalaya mountain. So you will see that he will have a stick or something in his hand so that he can actually take stick's help and cross or go above in the difficult terrain. Okay. So wherever the path becomes difficult, in that place, this commentary will help us. Okay. So in difficult places, okay, in Durga places, it is Sangamini. It is walking with us. It is going to walk with us. So that's why the Tika or the commentary name is that. Actually, this is a feminine gender. This lady Durgama Sangamini will walk with us in difficult places. Okay, like that. So ocean, obviously, the ocean may have sometimes the difficult places. It's not about mountain. It's about ocean. So the ocean sometimes will be very, very difficult at some places. Correct. So this tika will help us cross over or go deeper into that ocean, like that. Okay, this is the first and main commentary on this. And the second commentary is by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and he has given this commentary name as Bhakti Sara Pradarshini Tika. Okay, very simple. Bhakti Sar means the essence of Bhakti. Pradarshini, which reveals. Okay, that commentary which reveals the essence of Bhakti. That is called Bhakti Sara Pradarshini Tika. Okay, this is the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So most of the places, like almost we can say 80% of the places, he just follows Jiva Goswami. 20% only it's little different. Wherever it's different, we will discuss. Okay. So these are the main uh, Sanskrit commentaries, and English we have Srila Prabhupada's The Nectar of Devotion. Okay. So Prabhupada, as I told, the complete science of Bhakti Yoga, he has given this title or subtitle to this book, The Complete Science of Bhakti Yoga. And what is this book? It's not a general book, but it's like a summary study. Srila Prabhupada himself told. So I think sometimes previously I told, I think last session, yeah. So summary study, Prabhupada told, what is a summary study? He told it is something which I can decide what to write, or I can write whatever I want. Like that Prabhupada told. I can write whatever I want. So it does not mean he can write whatever he wants in that sense, but in the sense following Jiva Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he will write in the way he wants. Okay, so we will see this summary study. It does not have shloka. It does not have word to word meaning. Okay, it has uh, paraphrased, or we can say in his own words, Srila Prabhupada written the translation or the commentaries of Jiva Goswami. So that's why he has called this as summary study. Okay. So, and there are other books also which Prabhupada wrote, like summary study. Like there is a Krishna book. Okay, does not have shlokas. Correct. Does not have word to word meaning, but it is summary study. Prabhupada gave it of 10th canto. Okay. The one of the very first books actually has been this Nectar of Devotion. This was published in I think Los Angeles only in 1969 or 71. Some but very initial stages this was published. Okay, and Prabhupada did not only publish first 19 chapters. He published all throughout all the four sections. Basically all the sections. More than 50 chapters he published. Okay. So it is a summary study of Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Okay. So these are the main three things which we are going to focus. And yeah, so this is a small introduction which is given in Chaitanya Charitamrita about Rupa Goswami. Not exactly introduction, but to say who actually Rupa Goswami is. Okay, there is so much which we can say about Rupa Goswami, but just to maybe sum it up in one shloka, this is very good. Okay, so let us see this shloka. This is Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, 19th chapter, shloka number 121. So here it is said, Priya Swarupe, Daita Swarupe, Prema Swarupe, Sahajabhirupe, Nijanurupe, Prabhureka Rupe, Tatana Rupe, Swavilas Rupe. Okay. So this is a specific type of poetry, or we can say alankara in Sanskrit. Okay, where one word is repeated many times. Okay. So here the repetition is on the word rupe. Okay. So that makes the shloka very beautiful. Okay. So what is the meaning? So here he is saying Priya Swarupe. The first word is Priya Swarupe. So he was indeed Srila Rupa Goswami, whose dear friend was Swarup Damodar Goswami. So all of us know who is Swarup Damodar Goswami. He is one of the very close associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay. and he is one who is there witnessing the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Gambira. Okay, he and Ramanand Rai were the most close associates who are like Lalita and Vishakha of Krishna Lila. So they have appeared, and he is like saying that Rupa Goswami is very dear to Swarup Damodar Goswami. This Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying, okay, that Rupa Goswami indeed has been the person who is very dear friend of Swarup Damodar Goswami, Priya Swarupe. Okay, that is the first thing. Then Daita Swarupe. This also looks similar. Daita also means who is very dear, and Swarupe, but this has another meaning. So Daita Swarupe means he was very, very dear to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually. Okay. Swarupe, like that. Okay, it's not Swarupe, it is Swa plus Rupe. So he was very, very dear to the Lord, that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Okay. And later in the verse it comes Prabhu Ek Rupe. He was what? Exact replica of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Replica in the sense what? Was he mirror image of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Not like that. He was Sri Chaitanya Manoabhishtam. He was the one who knew the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Correct. So we can see here this pastime all of us know. Correct. How Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, while once he was visiting Srila Rupa Goswami, and while he was staying near the Jagannath temple, we can see Jagannath temple in the background, and at the shore of the ocean. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was once visiting in the afternoon, and then Rupa Goswami had gone to take his bath, and then at that time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu happened to see a like that time they used to write on leaf. So a leaf on the thatched hoof of the roof of the hut, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took it and then read it. So basically, it was like a duet song. Okay, like which is there in generally some drama or some movies between a actor and actress. It was like that. So basically, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was singing a song during the Jagannath Rath Yatra. Okay, so and he was singing in the mood of Radharani towards Jagannath or Krishna, and it was exactly looking like a duet song between a beloved and the lover, like that, and nobody was actually understanding what it means. So not many could understand basically. Very few close associates actually will be understanding. Like Rupa Goswami, he understood. So then at that time, Rupa Goswami noted the song which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was singing, and later when he came to his uh, hut, at that time he wrote a verse which was a mirror verse. Mirror verse is like something similar or trying to explain that karika. It is called also karika, which trying to explain the original creation, like that. So he had written a verse, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu read it, and then he was very surprised. Oh, how did Rupa Goswami know exactly my heart? That he knew what I was singing, and he knew exactly the emotions what which I was having while I was singing. So he was very surprised. And then when Rupa Goswami actually came back after taking his bath, and that time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just lovingly slapped him like that. And then before that, he was asking Swarup Damodar Goswami, "Oh, how was it that Rupa Goswami exactly understood my heart?" So Swarup Damodar Goswami said, "Yeah, it is because you have given your mercy to him. So because you have given your mercy, otherwise it's not possible. Okay, to understand your heart. Nobody can understand your heart without your mercy, like that. So Sri Chaitanya Mano Abhishtam, like that. So Rupa Goswami is the one who is exact replica in that sense. That he is knowing exactly what is the mood and mission and heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's why Prabhu Ek Rupe. Okay, and then he says Prema Swarupe. He is also he is being the embodiment of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstatic love. He is Swarup. Swarup, like we say, na, what is Swarup means the Akar or Akriti or what we say, the original form of Jiva. What is Swarupa, like that, na? Like that also we use. So he is in that sense, he is the form, Swarup of what? Prema. Okay, embodiment. Okay, so like we have love personified of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Rupa Goswami. Like that he's saying. So he is Prema Swarupe. Also what? Sahaja Abhirupe. Okay. Sahaja means which is very naturally. Okay. Abhirupe. Rupa Goswami was very beautiful. Okay. So he was very beautiful in the sense what? He was very beautiful from inside, obviously from outside also. But inside also he was very beautiful. Okay, because he was a great devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Krishna, Srimati Radharani, like that. And also we know that he is none other than Shri Rupa Manjari only, who has come as Srila Rupa Goswami. And Nija Anurupe. Okay, and he says that he very carefully followed the principles enunciated by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave them many instructions like building temples in Vrindavan, writing literatures, then erecting holy places, and fourth instruction was writing and yeah, setting example through their behavior, setting example for everyone. So these four instructions actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to all the six Goswamis. So that's how he is carefully followed the principles enunciated by the Lord. And that's why the result is this Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself taught and Rupa Goswami followed it, and that's why he could write. And he is also called as Tatan Rupe. He was also a competent person to explain. So it's not that like in a class somebody may explain, a teacher may explain same thing to 10 people, but it's not that all 10 people will do the same way. They may not grasp the concept the same way that a very sincere student may grasp, like that. So that's why he explained. Tatan means explain. So he was a very competent person to explain properly the pastimes of Lord Krishna. So Rupa Goswami has actually written many books. Among that, Bhakti Sam Sindhu, as I told you, very foundational. Then a sequel or a next book to this is Ujjwal Nilmani. Okay. And then Vidagdha Madhav and also Lalit Madhav. These are very famous creations of Rupa Goswami. And also we hear this Harinamamrit Vyakaran. So obviously that credit is given to Jiva Goswami, but the first copy of it, that is Lagu version, Lagu Harinamamrit Vyakaran actually was written by Rupa Goswami, on which Jiva Goswami actually developed it. Okay, so Rupa Goswami has written many more literatures, so many other literatures, and not only his own literatures, he has compiled this Padyavali, which is Avali means like we have Deepavali, Deepa, a sequence of Deepas. Similarly, Padyavali, a sequence of Padyas created by or we can say composed by many other poets. So he has actually not written his own original commentaries only, but also compiled the creations of other great writers. And then he's saying Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu expanded his mercy to Srila Rupa Goswami, Rupe, to that Rupa Goswami, Rupe. And what? Swavilasa Rupe. Just so he could render service by writing transcendental literatures. Okay. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself gave him the mercy. So that's why Rupa Goswami is said very important personality. And our Sampradaya is also that's why called Rupanuga. Srila Prabhupada many times says Rupanuga Sampradaya. Like that. Yeah. And Vishwanath Chakra Thakur has also glorified Rupa Goswami very unique way in his book Madhuri Kadambini. This is the second shloka of Madhuri Kadambini where he says, Bhakti Purve Shrita Tam Tu Rasam Pashyed Yadattadhihi Tam Naumi Satatam Rupa Nama Priya Janam Harehe. So he says, Bhakti Purve Shrita Tam Tu. Shrita means Ashrita, taken shelter. Even though in the past, Purve, many have taken shelter of bhakti. But, tu means but out of many devotees, there has been one has stood out. Who? This is Rupa Goswami. Why did he stand out? Because Yadatadhi, because of his dhi means intelligence. Because of his which intelligence? He is saying Atdhihi, or which has means very apt, very good intelligence, or intelligence which is given bestowed with mercy by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Rasam Pashyed. He could not only experience, these people in earlier times, they experienced rasa, but nobody could express what they are feeling, what is rasa. But Rupa Goswami, Rasham Pashed, he is saying. He could actually see the rasas and bring it to writing. It's so difficult to put down your emotions in writing. Na? Suppose somebody loves his mother. So can he write it how much he loves? Cannot express in words also what to speak of writing. Okay, it's very, very impossible task to say how much somebody loves another person. Okay, it's never possible that we can put it in writing or how much ever we may say. But Rupa Goswami, because of the mercy given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he could actually write it down. Okay. And then Tam Naumi, I again and again, Satatam, again and again, Naumi, I pay my obeisances. To whom? Tam, to that person, Rupa Goswami, whose name is Rupa Goswami, Rupa Nama. Okay, Priya Janam Harehe, who is very, very dear, Priya Jana, of whom Harehe, of Hari, of Shri Krishna. Okay, that is the meaning of the shloka. Though there are others who in the past have taken up the path of devotional service to the Lord. I pay my continual obeisances, Satam Satatam Naumi, to Rupa Goswami, who is dearmost of the Lord, Rupa Nama Hare Priyam Janaha, Priyajanam. By his mercy, humanity has received the intelligence, Yadat Dhihi, to see all rasas, relationships with the Lord. Okay, what are the different relationships? Like we discussed, one of them is Vatsalya. Like that, there is Sakhya ras, friendship. There is Madhuri ras, that is conjugal relationship. Correct. There is Dasya ras, servitorship. Sant ras, neutrality. Like this, there are five main relationships with the Lord. Okay, revealed by bhakti, devotion to the Lord, rasam pashed. Okay, so this is the prayer of, or we can say, gratitude of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur to Rupa Goswami. Okay, and like this very famous prayer that what we pray to Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Chaitanya Mano Abhishtam स्थापितम येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः kada mahyam dadati swapadantikam. This is our prayer. Obviously, all Vaishnavas pray this. So when will Rupa Goswami, Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, kada swayam rupah, who has established within this material world, sthapitam yena bhutale, the mission to fulfill the desire of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mano Abhishtam, give me shelter under his lotus feet. Mahyam dadati swapadantikam. Okay. So we are expressing our gratitude to Shri Rupa Goswami by citing the prayers of previous acharyas who have been very, very great acharyas. They themselves have written so many books actually, and they have glorified Rupa Goswami like this. Like Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami we saw, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and this prayer. Correct. And what is Jiva Goswami's prayer, or not a prayer in the sense, but this is glorification of Rupa Goswami about Jiva Goswami about Rupa Goswami. So he has written it in the very first paragraph in his commentary to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So like we saw, na, that is Durgama Sangamini commentary. In that very first paragraph, he has written this. So obsessed by a desire to benefit all the devotees of the Lord. Okay. The esteemed author, that is Rupa Goswami, Srila Rupa Goswami, compiled this remarkable work. Okay. This work means Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the scripture called Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Okay. And what did he use while composing this? Using the rasa presented in Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. The rasa which has been presented in Srimad Bhagavatam by whom? Srila Vyasadeva, who is none other than incarnation of Shri Krishna only. Okay, so he has taken up that same rasa which is there in Bhagavatam, which we could not be able to identify that, oh, Mother Yashoda is having these feelings towards Krishna, or Srimati Radharani, Lalita, Vishakha, they are having such feelings towards Krishna, or the other Gopal Madhumangal, he is having such feelings towards Krishna. We will not be able to identify which is Vibhav, which is Anubhav, which is Satvik Bhav, which is Ravichari Bhav. But Rup Goswami took that same thing, and we will see many examples he will give from Bhagavatam. Okay, and then he presented the whole thing in the very, very structured format. Like all of you must have heard about, like there is like if somebody does PhD, correct? So there is a thesis he writes, correct? So like that, this Srimad Bhagavatam na is not an ordinary book. It's like a thesis. Okay, very difficult to understand. Okay, that's why it's called Granth Raj, very the highest among all the Granthas. Okay, looks simple that it's a simple Purana among the 18 Puranas, but actually it's the highest pinnacle, and it's like a thesis. And suppose you get the thesis of a PhD student. Now you are asked, find out based on which book he wrote this thesis. It will be a very difficult task to understand which all books did he use to write this thesis. Which all scientific experiments did he use to come to this conclusion of this thesis. So Rupa Goswami has done that. He has taken up the thesis that is the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, in which all the play of the rasas is given. And then from there he has written a textbook actually. So it's like something which should have been earlier. Bhakti Sindhu is there, then somebody can say, oh, this pastime is there like this, and then he can describe Bhagavatam. But he has done the very, very inconceivable task of writing this Bhakti Sindhu, which is like the basis or the textbook for the thesis of Bhagavatam. So from the thesis, he has derived which all experiment the person actually saw, which all books did he refer. Oh, like that, all that Rupa Goswami has done. So why could he do this? Because he was given the mercy by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he was himself so capable of doing it. Okay, that is the reason. Okay. Yeah, and this we discussed. How did Sri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu come about? So this Srila Prabhupada is described in NOD Preface. We will read this. Somebody can read. Yeah, Pratik Bro, you want to read?
Sure. Hare Krishna. How did Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu came about? Rupa Goswami first met Lord Sri Chaitanya at Prayag, Allahabad, India, and on the Dashashwamedh bathing ghat of the holy city, the Lord instructed him continually for 10 days. The Lord particularly instructed Rupa Goswami on the science of Krishna consciousness. These teachings of Lord Chaitanya to Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada are narrated in our book Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Later, Sri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada elaborated the teachings of the Lord with profound knowledge of revealed scriptures and authoritative references from the various Vedic literatures.
Yeah. So this is how Srila Prabhupada has written about this coming of this book, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So he first met Lord Chaitanya at Prayag on the Dashashwamedh Ghat. And only for 10 days, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed. And we will see the shloka, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying. This is Madhya 136 in the 19th chapter. Prabhu kay sunarupa bhakti rasera lakshana sutra rupe kahi vistar nayaya varnana. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, my dear Rupa, please listen. Suna Rupa bhakti rasera lakshana. Okay, so just I will describe to you the lakshana or the characteristics. Okay, sutra rupe in a very sutra means concise form like that. Sutra rupa I will tell. Vistarana yaya varnana. I am not describing it in vistar or detail. So it is not possible to describe devotional service completely. Okay. Therefore, I am just trying to give you a synopsis, sutra, of the lakshana symptoms of bhakti rasa, devotional service. Okay, and then next shloka he says, पारा पार शून्य गभीर भक्ति रस सिंधु तो माया चाखीते तर कही एक बिंदु. This is next shloka. He says, par apar shunya gabhir. It is very, very deep. And it is par apar means it is having no shores, no shore, no end. And that's why it is Bhakti Rasa Sindhu. It is an ocean which has no shores, very deep. Tomaya chakhite, chakhaite. I am going to give you a taste of this. Tarakahi ek bindu, by speaking one drop of it. From this Sindhu, I will speak one bindu. Okay. And I will try to give you the taste. So Prabhupada is translating it as the ocean of the transcendental mellows of devotional service is so big that no one can estimate its length and breadth. However, just to help you taste it, I am describing but one drop. So again, to understand why I have written it here the shloka, to understand that Rupa Goswami is not creating something on his own. He can do so. He is very qualified to do so. But again, to show the example, by his example, that he is following in the parampara. What Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving, that only he is expanding. Like Srila Prabhupada, he is expanding on the, as we read in the Bhagavad Gita commentaries also, that Prabhupada actually just expanded on what Baldev Vidyabhushan has given, what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gave. So that's why here it's very important to understand that Rupa Goswami, even though qualified, he has not written a literature on his own, but something which is based on the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, so now next is we are going to discuss why is Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu a very important book for the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Yeah, maybe somebody else can read. Vrajananda Krishna Prabhu, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhuji. The present Krishna consciousness movement is also based on the authority of Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. We are therefore generally known as Rupanugas, or the followers in the footsteps of Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. It is only for our guidance that Srila Rupa Goswami prepared his book Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which is now presented in the form of Nectar of Devotion. Persons engaged in the Krishna consciousness movement may take advantage of this great literature and be very solidly situated in the Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, thank you.
Preface.
Yeah, so in the preface itself, Prabhupada is putting this point, very, very important point, what he is saying, that this present Krishna consciousness, what he established, is based on the authority of Rupa Goswami. That's why it's called Rupa Anuga. We are called Rupa Anuga. Rupa Anuga. Ga means who goes, Anu means following. Following whom? Rupa. We are going by following in the footsteps of Rupa Goswami. That is the meaning. That's why we are called Rupa Anuga. And it is only for our guidance that Rupa Goswami, Srila Rupa Goswami prepared his book, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Okay, not that he had to write notes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what he spoke 10 days, Dashashwamedh Ghat. So that notes only we are seeing now. No, it is written, Prabhupada is saying, for our guidance. Okay, which is now presented in the form of Nectar of Devotion. And then specifically to answer the question why it is important, Prabhupada is saying persons, and for whom it is important, persons engaged in Krishna consciousness. It is not for distribution only. Persons who are engaged, that means the devotees of ISKCON in Krishna consciousness movement, may take advantage of this great literature and be very solidly situated. If you want to be solidly situated in Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada is recommending this book. Okay, that's why I told this is nothing but the science of the complete science of Bhakti Yoga. And then here it is said Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is a book of definitions, as we will see. So this book actually will describe various definitions. Like the first is definition of Bhakti itself, and here it will be defined as Uttama Bhakti. Okay, that means the highest type of Bhakti. Then also there will be definition of the Sadhana Bhakti, then Vaidhi Bhakti, then Raganuga Bhakti, Bhav Bhakti, Prema Bhakti. All these definitions will come in this book. Okay, and much more. Adhikaris, Uttam Adhikari, who are the person qualified for Bhakti practice, that will also be coming. So it is a very important book because it gives precise definitions of very important items in our Sampradaya, like Bhakti, Prema, Rasa, different types of Rasa, etc. Okay, so this what definitions I told is there in chapter 1 to 19 of NOD. Okay, then after that, this is the Eastern section basically. After that, all this will come. Already I told rasa definition, at a very basic definition, and then different types of rasa, all that will described in the other sections. So somebody may ask, then why do we need beneath how precise definitions? Correct. Anyhow, bhakti is going on. Why do we need? Why did Rupa Goswami had to give precise definitions? A very, very important point. Okay, why? We will see here. So here he says that if we don't have precise definition of whatever thing we will be studying, discussing, then we can fall into confusion. For example, I may talk about bhakti, but it might be totally different from what bhakti actually is. Okay. Two persons, we may be talking about bhakti, different aspects of bhakti. But what he has in his mind, what I have in my mind, may be completely different. And this can happen in any other aspect of life also, and we have experienced also. Okay. So somebody may be talking about the same thing, but he is having completely different image only of what I am talking. And I am having something different image of what I am talking. Like that. So it can happen with bhakti and other definitions also. When I say rasa, somebody may be actually thinking about amras only, and I am maybe telling about some other rasa. Okay, so it can be different. So bhakti generally means without any material motives or desires, but in most cases it is most like full of material desires. Like bhakti they use for many other terms, like we have heard desh bhakti. It has nothing to do with devotion, but anyhow it has the subtitle, or we can say the suffix bhakti only. So when I am speaking about bhakti, somebody in the audience may be thinking of desh bhakti, okay, or samaj bhakti, but actually it is for Krishna and Vishnu what I am trying to tell. So when we have to discuss, we should have a common definition of what we are discussing. So this is very, very important first point, that we both or whoever is discussing should have a common book from where the definition is going to be taken. So for all the Gaudiya Sampradaya, the definition of bhakti is in the book of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So anybody talks about bhakti, then he should be talking about the definition given in the book Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, like that. Okay, and if he is not, then we should ask him, from where are you giving this definition? Okay, like that. Otherwise, it is generally understood that it is from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Example is given of this word Atma. Okay, I already told it earlier. So it can tell about so many other things. It can mean the body, it can mean about the mind. Okay, in Bhagavad Gita itself, so many different uses are there of this word. So when we precisely talk about a subject, and in order to accomplish anything based on explaining the subject, we need to have precise definitions. Okay. So otherwise, that doesn't have any meaning. Okay, just like we have these traffic rules. So every traffic signal, or the, like we have this very simple example of green light, red light and yellow light. Just imagine everybody does not have the same understanding of red light. Somebody thinks red light means he has to go now. How many accidents will happen? Somebody thinks yellow light means he has to be stopped. Okay, and then he has to uh, wait for 2 3 minutes. Like different understandings can be there of the same thing. It can create so much confusion. So for everything there is a one common thing which is told. Okay, green light means all move. Okay, yellow means short pause, and then red means complete pause, like that. And there is zebra walk. Okay, so everybody understands what is the meaning of it. There is no U-turn. There is signal. So everybody has to have common understanding what is that signal mean. Similarly, here also we are having a book which defines all the definitions to understand and also have discussion on that. Okay. So if you want to have a philosophy that is intelligent and acceptable, it has to have very precise definitions, just like the Constitution of India. So it has the Indian penal codes. What are the code numbers are there? Correct. So it has to have in one constitutional book, right? Otherwise, everybody talks of the rule, but they don't know which rule is what. There cannot be any decision taken. There cannot be any discussion on that between lawyers. Correct. So these are very important things that has to be followed in bhakti also. Very common sense. Yeah, now coming to specifically the book Prabhupada has written, Nectar of Devotion, what it is. How is it different from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu? So as we told, it is not a translation, but it's like some summary study actually. So what is a summary study? So here comparing NOD text to verses of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it is evident that Srila Prabhupada gave his dictations while simultaneously consulting the commentaries, just he did as he did in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Same thing has done. Only difference is what? He has not given verses, the shlokas. In the Nectar of Devotion, he did not use the standard format, that is Sanskrit script like we saw in Bhagavad Gita. Na? Sanskrit shloka is there, then Roman transliteration is there, then Sanskrit or English word to word is there, English translation is there, then commentary for each purport by Prabhupada like that. That is not the method which he followed in Nectar of Devotion. So what happened? He could sometimes take the liberty to greatly expand the original text where he felt that it was needed for the audience, for the ISKCON society, wherever it was needed. So that's why we will see that so much Prabhupada has given focus about sadhana bhakti. Lot of focus about sadhana bhakti he has given and explained it. But when it comes to prema and bhava, he has just kept it very short, like that. Obviously, Rupa Goswami also followed the same way, but Prabhupada has done all the more. So whatever he felt was needed for the audience or the ISKCON society, he made their more explanation and a relevant explanation, giving his own examples. So he could also drastically summarize sections he felt were not so relevant, like Prema Bhakti, Bhava Bhakti, like that. So what is the result of this? Probably more people have studied Srila Rupa Goswami's teachings. But in what form? Nectar of Devotion. And Srila Prabhupada, so many books were distributed actually in Nectar of Devotion and still being distributed. Okay, through the original text, it could not happen, but it happened through an NOD. That is the genius of Srila Prabhupada. Okay, and Srila Prabhupada already followed this actually in previously in other books also. But the question comes then, okay, Prabhupada has already given NOD, then what is the need for ISKCON devotees to read the original text of Bhakti Samrit Sindhu? Okay, why we cannot just read NOD and just follow what is given in that? Why should we have to read Bhakti Samrit Sindhu in original? Huh? So Srila Prabhupada also wrote Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, a summary study, which is also a summary study initially, but later also subsequently he gave Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay, he did not say that, oh, anyhow, I gave summary study. All of you be happy with that. But actually, he gave CC also, Chaitanya Charitamrita also. Not that it took a long time, just 2 months. He gave the whole comprehensive study, text by text. Also, as I gave earlier example of Krishna book, similarly, Prabhupada gave a summary study Krishna book of 10th canto. Later, he gave full Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, text by text. And similarly, to fully appreciate Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it is good to read the complete translation and text and commentaries. And obviously, we follow Prabhupada's NOD, okay, for understanding the shloka of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Okay, anything we have to discuss? You want to ask anything till now, whatever we have discussed before we go to the next topic? Anyone wants to ask anything?
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, so Prabhuji, this rasa description, all the different types and everything you explained. Prabhuji, there is one more maybe material scripture, but it is also predecessor to the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. This Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra. So is there any connection between those two? Or did he took any ideas or from any terminologies from there?
Yeah. The basic idea, structure, terminology is from that book only, Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra. But that explains only it's like a book on the emotions of drama. Okay, which is like what emotions the dramatist can have. So Rupa Goswami has taken the structure from there only, the skeleton from there, and the terminology also from there. Few terminologies, major terminologies he has taken from there. So, and he has given it the way Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained to him, put it in that skeleton like that. So, in that sense. So, and then somebody may ask, then where did Bharat Muni get this idea from? See, he got this idea from Lord only. So, yadyad vibhuti matsattvam shrimad urjit evava tattad evava gachatvam mam tejo amsa sambhavah. So, anything extraordinary you see, that is my uh, vibhuti only, let Lord Krishna says in 10th chapter. So, Bharat Muni has got this idea from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Krishna only. And then Rupa Goswami is taking from him only, like that. So, that is how he is also respecting the previous acharyas like Bharat Muni who gave this structure. Okay. Okay. Anything else? Anybody wants to ask? Okay. So in short, we discussed what are the each terms of Bhakti Rasa and Amrita and Sindhu. But from preface of NOD, we will just read now that what exactly Prabhupada says for each term. Yeah, somebody can read. Yeah, Brajalan and Krishna, you were reading. You can continue.
Bhakti. Srila Prabhupada says Bhakti means devotional service. Bhakti cannot devotion
Connotes. Yeah.
or love, and love implies service, activity to please the beloved. Thus, devotional service is an eloquent definition of bhakti. Srila Prabhupada says the basic principle of the living condition is that we have a general propensity to love someone. No one can live without loving someone else. Every one of us within this world is perpetually engaged in some sort of service, and the impetus of such service is the pleasure we derive from it.
Yeah. So, two important points. One is we have already discussed Bhakti means devotional service, and also it means love, as we discussed earlier. But here, Prabhupada makes important point. Basic principle of living condition is general propensity to love. Correct. Somebody, the family person is there. Prabhupada will give that example. He loves his child, loves the wife or the parents. Then he has also the impetus to love the work. Okay. So no one can live without loving someone else. In his lecture, Prabhupada gives a lot of examples about how people in America, they are loving dog. They don't love God, but now they are loving dogs. Somebody they have to love like that. So every one of us within this material world is perpetually engaged in some sort of service. And wherever there is love, there will be service also. Okay. Wherever there is love, there will be service also. Something we will want to do for that person whom we love. And the impetus for such service is pleasing the pleasure we derive from it. Okay, from the service we derive some pleasure. Okay, for that pleasure, actually we want to uh, do that service. Yeah. Yeah, continue.
Srila Prabhupada says, in the primary stage, a child loves his parents, then his brothers and sisters, and as he daily grows up, he begins to love his family, society, community, country, nation, or even the whole human society. But the loving propensity is not satisfied even by loving all human society. That loving propensity remains imperfectly fulfilled until we know who the Supreme Beloved is. Love can become all embracing only when we understand that Krishna is the Supreme Beloved. He is the root of all creation. By embracing him, one successfully embraces everyone, as pouring water on the root of the tree successfully nourishes every leaf and branch. Srila Prabhupada says, the nectar of devotion teaches us the science of loving every one of the living entities perfectly by the easy method of loving Krishna.
Yeah. So what is this easy method of loving Krishna? So yatha tarora mula nisechanena tripyanti tatskanda bhujopasakha. So he is saying just like you give the water to the mool or the root. So bhuja, upas, skanda and shakha. All the trunks, branches, leaves, everything is nourished. So that is the easy method of satisfying every living entity that is there. And where is this the science of loving given? That is given in nectar of devotion. The nectar of devotion teaches us how to love everybody by watering the root like that. Yeah, continue. Next term,
Srila
rasa, or
Prabhupada
maybe
says,
somebody else can read. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Chaitanya Prabhu, you want to read?
Yes, bro. Rasa. Srila Prabhupada says the word rasa used in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu is understood by different persons differently because the exact English equivalent is very difficult to find. But as we have seen our spiritual master translate this word rasa into mellow, we shall follow in his footsteps and also translate the word in that way. And go to
Yeah, so
chapter 20.
yeah, this is how Prabhupada is translated. Yeah, we discussed about it. Yeah, continue.
Srila Prabhupada says, driven by affection for his wife and children, a family man works day and night. A philanthropist works in the same way for love of the greater family, and a nationalist for the cause of his country and countrymen. That force which drives the philanthropist, the householder, and the nationalist is called rasa, or a kind of a mellow relationship whose taste is very sweet. There are two kinds of taste: bhakti rasa, the taste relished in the devotional service to Krishna, and the mundane rasa, the taste enjoyed by sense gratification. Bhakti rasa is the incalculably superior taste. Not only is it superior to sense gratification, it is limitlessly superior even to the bliss of spiritual emancipation.
Yeah, so this we discussed earlier. So bhakti means love, and in love there is always service, and in service there is some pleasure which he gets. Okay, so that pleasure now Prabhupada is connecting it to rasa. So there is some affection, there is some love for the family members, and for that, because of that love, he works or he does some service for them. Correct. So now Prabhupada is saying that the force which drives this family man or philanthropist, householder, and nationalist is called rasa. Okay, that juice or that experience in that relationship or in that service he gets, that is called rasa. So basically, what Prabhupada is saying, rasa is something of experience. Okay, rasa is something which is experience. Okay, it is not something which is to be just uh, defined theoretically. It is something which is to be experienced like that. And in that, he has given two classifications: Bhakti Rasa and Mundane Rasa. So, Bhakti Rasa, taste released in devotional service, and Mundane Rasa is taste enjoyed in sense gratification. There is taste in both, there is rasa in both. Okay, obviously, this rasa is so called rasa, that's why it's in inverted commas. So, but it is very, very inferior, and Bhakti Rasa is superior in taste. Okay, like that. Yeah, continue.
Srila Prabhupada says, if Brahmananda or the happiness of becoming one with the Supreme is multiplied by 1 trillion fold, it still cannot be compared to an atomic fraction of the happiness derived from the ocean of devotional service.
Yeah.
Mundane rasa. Mundane rasa has two qualities: bhog tag, oscillation between enjoyment and renunciation; chapala sukh, flickering duration of happiness.
Yeah. So, the spiritual rasa, Prabhupada is saying, is like many, many times, trillion fold more enjoyable than even Brahmananda. Okay. Not even in comparison to mundane rasa is saying. Brahmananda is like highest pleasure which is present in the all the material creation. Like sometimes it is compared to very deep sleep. Somebody goes. When we are in very deep sleep, the enjoyment we get is Brahmananda. Okay, like that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has written in one commentary in second canto. So what kind of enjoyment do we have in a very deep sleep? I don't know. Miss, we don't experience anything while we are asleep at least. And we only remember it, oh, acha, we had a very good sleep. Acha neend aaya. Okay, that is Brahmananda. Okay, and yeah, so that much multiplied like that, he is saying is the Bhakti Rasa. And in this Mundane Rasa now Prabhupada is, it has two qualities. Bhog Tyag, that means the oscillation is there, like the pendulum, it oscillates from one position to other position. Okay, like that. So at one time it will be at the position of extreme of bhoga. Other time it will be at the position of tyaga, like that. So when it is like Prabhupada gives this very simple example, a person who is working in a company, so for the weekend he goes to the farm, Saturday and Sunday. By the Sunday end he is bored in the farm and he wants to go back to work. And by the Friday evening again he is bored of work. He wants to go to the farm. This example he gives in the preface. So that is mundane rasa. And other is chapal sukha because he is not getting enjoyment in either of the place. He is doing bhog tyag. If he was enjoying bhog, he would have remained there. If he was enjoying tyag, he would have remained there at least. Nowhere he is getting enjoyment. Okay, that's how he says. Yeah, continue.
Mundane rasa versus bhakti rasa. Bhog tyag, neither enjoyment, bhog, nor a renunciation tyag is the natural position of the soul. Therefore, one cannot remain permanently situated in either. One will oscillate between the two, finding satisfaction in neither. In contrast, bhakti rasa is the neutral position of the soul, and thus one
Natural
can,
position.
natural position of the soul, and thus one can remain satisfied there perpetually without oscillation. Chapala sukha. The happiness sukha of mundane rasa is always temporary and flickering chapal. Even the greatest material pleasure must end at death.
So these two qualities Prabhupada is explaining. Bhogatyaga, because why he is not able to find pleasure in one of the places? Because the soul is not having the natural position to enjoy material pleasure. It is spiritual, so it will also like to have spiritual pleasure. Very simple. It is not natural. And another is chapal sukha. So mundane rasa is always temporary. So either we will leave the object or the object will leave us. One of them is going to surely happen. So it is temporary. Yeah, read the last line.
In contrast, the pleasure of bhakti rasa doesn't flicker.
Yeah, so Bhakti Rasa will not flicker because it is spiritual. Yeah,
Amruta.
yeah,
Srila
somebody else
Prabhupada
can read.
says, okay, all right.
Yeah, Amitru, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavata.
No.
Amrita. Srila Prabhupada says Bhakti Rasa, however, the mellow relished in the transcendental loving service of the Lord does not finish with the end of life. It continues perpetually and is therefore called Amrita, that which does not die but exists eternally. This is confirmed in all Vedic literatures. Bhagavad Gita says that a little advancement in Bhakti Rasa can save the devotee from the greatest danger, that of missing the opportunity for human life. Amrut also means nectar, a tasty beverage which makes one deathless. Devotional service does not only bestow eternal pleasure, it is also the process of achieving eternity.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so here he is saying Amrita definition. So Amrita, as we discussed earlier, that which is not going to end, which continues perpetually, Prabhupada is saying. Okay, that's why it's called Amrita. And that's why I told now initially that it's connecting to Bhakti Rasa. Bhakti Rasa is actually Amrita. Bhakti Rasa Sayev Amrita. Okay, so it continues. And this is confirmed as he quotes Bhagavad Gita, Neha Bhikrama Nashvasti Pratyavayo na vidyate Swalpamapi Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bhayat. He quotes that shloka. And also another meaning as we discussed, Amrita. That means it's nectar, tasty beverage, and which we hear demigods drink Amrita, like that. Yeah. Which makes one deathless. Yeah. Yeah, continue.
Bhakti Rasa Amrit Sindhu. Srila Prabhupada says the nectarian pleasure derived from devotional service to Krishna is clearly superior to material sense gratification. One may sometimes manage to produce a few drops of sense pleasure, but there is an entire ocean, Sindhu, of the nectar of devotion easily available to everyone, always. By understanding the nectar of devotion, one can dive deeply into that ocean.
Yeah, so summarizing the whole thing, Bhakti Sam Sindhu, Prabhupada is saying this nectarian pleasure, nectar means Amrita, okay, pleasure derived from devotional service, bhakti, rasa, to Krishna is clearly superior to the mundane rasa or the sense gratification. Okay. So even if one gets one drop, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, na chakhaite eka bindu. So even if one is able to take one drop, manage to procure one drop of it, so it is better than getting like so much of material pleasure also. So, but what we have to do? We have to just try to understand the nectar of devotion. Then we can dive into it. Yeah. So in the preface, Prabhupada has actually made few points. Why did he write Nectar of Devotion? Actually, he has written this almost 5 to 6 times. I noted. Prabhupada writes, why was that he wrote this Nectar of Devotion? Okay, so we'll just read this part and end. Okay, somebody else can read. Gayatri Mataji, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhuji. Srila Prabhupada says the process of devotional service, as it is recommended in the Nectar of Devotion, will gradually elevate one from the material condition of life to the spiritual status, wherein the devotee becomes purified of all designations. The senses can then become uncontaminated, being constantly in touch with Bhakti Rasa. Our love can be fully satisfied only when it is reposed in Krishna. This theme is the sum and substance of the nectar of devotion, which teaches us how to love Krishna in 5 different transcendental mellows.
Yeah, so first he is saying the process of devotional service is recommended in Nectar of Devotion. And what it will do? It will gradually elevate us from material condition to spiritual condition, spiritual status. Okay, and we can become purified. That is purpose. This first purpose Prabhupada is saying. And then second is saying our love can be fully satisfied only in repose to Krishna. And this theme is the sum and substance of NOD. Okay, what? That we are supposed to be fully satisfied. How? By making a relationship with Krishna. Okay, and that how will we able to do? When we study and understand nectar of devotion. Nectar of devotion is what teaching us how to love Krishna, what ways we can love Krishna, like that. Yeah, continue.
Srila Prabhupada says the nectar of devotion teaches us the science of loving every one of the living entities perfectly by the easy method of loving Krishna. The nectar of devotion teaches all men how to perform the simple and natural method of loving Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If we learn how to love Krishna, then it is very easy to immediately and simultaneously love every living being. The nectar of devotion will teach us how to turn the one switch that will immediately brighten everything, everywhere. One who does not know this method is missing the point of life.
Yeah, so earlier also we discussed how we can love every living entity that NOD, nectar of devotion, will teach. And here he is teaching, it will also teach us to turn on the one switch that will immediately brighten everything, everywhere. Okay, not outside only, inside the us also. Like that. One who does not know this is missing the point of life. Like that.
The nectar of
Yeah.
the nectar of devotion will give us practical hints how we can live in this material world perfectly, engage in devotional service, and thus fulfill all our desires in this life and the next.
How to fulfill all desires. Yeah. Read this one.
Srila Prabhupada says, I am appealing herewith to such confused men to learn the art of devotional service as directed in the nectar of devotion. And I am sure that the fire of material existence burning within their hearts will be immediately extinguished.
Yeah. So what is the purpose of writing NOD? Prabhupada is saying, by reading it, by following it and experiencing it, the fire of material existence will be extinguished immediately. Not after 10 years, he's saying. Okay, which is burning in the heart, it will be extinguished immediately. Like that. Okay. Only thing is we should study it properly. And this we read. Yeah. Read the last one.
The nectar of devotion is specifically presented for persons who are now engaged in the Krishna consciousness movement.
Yeah. So it is presented specifically, Prabhupada is saying, for persons who are now engaged in Krishna consciousness movement, for the devotees of ISKCON, like that. Okay. So we'll pause here and continue tomorrow. So tomorrow we will see the divisions of this book, and then we will see also the first shloka of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and how Prabhupada has explained that. We will read that tomorrow. Any questions? Anything? Anybody want to ask? What we discussed till now or today?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Like, not a question. Like, I think some parts of preface we didn't cover. So,
Yeah,
like,
that's what I told in the beginning, that all devotees can read it in the first only and then come, because we will not be able to cover everything line by line in NOD. Okay, like we will be covering almost 90% of the things in the chapters, but preface and introduction that they can read. Okay, so almost half of the thing only I have covered, whichever is a particular point about Bhakti, Rasamrita and Sindhu. And other places Prabhupada continues a similar theme. So almost 50% I have covered, and others devotees can read. Yeah, especially this NOD preface and introduction. That tomorrow also only half only I will cover an introduction. So devotees can read these both the parts today or tomorrow, and then after that they can come for class. This is what you wanted to say?
I was asking.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, this is what, yeah. This is how we are doing now. And after chapter one, mostly we will be able to do 90% of the things. Yeah. Any other thing anybody has to ask or say? Okay, then we will meet tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Vishwanath Chakra Thakur ki jai, Srila Jeev Goswami ki jai, Shri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Guruji, Namaste.